I'm that inappropriate commercial that comes on while your kids are watching television. Get 'em, T-Rex! Welcome back to SOS. I'm Staff Sergeant Badass. Alright, so yeah. Kids watching TV. I can't watch TV anymore. It doesn't matter what network it's on. Every single time. It's like, hi, this is Viagra or whatever. Come on now. Man, I tell you, this stuff is getting too ridiculous with television. Look, I turned off. I don't have any of that stuff. But it's just when I do use it, every single time happens every time. Yeah, and you can't complain about it either. Stuff is getting way too acceptable. Way too acceptable. Anyways, you can add your take on that if you want, but this isn't about that. Alright, let's get into this. So, ideas and stuff. So, I walk around the house, home improvement. I kind of got the idea when I started watching this. It was a news segment where they brought this guy in. He's from, I can't remember, it's like part in Texas and places like that. There was a missile silo that had been, I was pulling this stuff up, it's missile silos and things like that, and this person had taken an old missile silo and converted it into a massive condo, different sections and levels, and throughout the condo it's got things for recreational purposes. It's got your bowling alley, it's got a theater, it's got a full parking garage. It's got these giant steel doors. You can pull it up once you start looking at luxury doomsday condos and stuff like that. This stuff will start pulling up. But the guy literally invested into it and then got all the bigwigs, actresses, businessmen, actors, musicians, things like that, got them on board, and they had to pay I believe it was like $7 million or something like that a piece. I can't remember the numbers. And each one of them have had a sit down where they actually discuss plans. So this guy actually does contingency plans with these morons. He puts them all, like people like Jimmy Kimmel and stuff, right? So he puts them all in a room and sits down with them and does contingency plans and stuff, and make sure they have a way to get there. Some of these guys have bought freaking luxury vehicles that are armor plated and all this stuff and ridiculous. Oh man. Anyway, so yeah, that's the people that a lot of people have been talking about. These say liberal style people that have bought into that environment, and they just bought it. So not really having to know a lot about it, just relying on the source, the guy, and his complex to make sure they survive. That was my first thought when I was watching, what's their contingency plan? And he finally got to that, and he finally mentioned they have a contingency plan, and some of them plan on flying. I'm like, well, you better start planning ahead of time to fly, because these days, standing in line to get on a plane isn't happening. They probably have their own private jet, so they probably plan to fly that way. Whichever way that is. But yeah, that got me thinking. So, what about all the ones that can't afford that, right? And I can't afford to go buy a bunker. They're online. You can look up, there's realtors for that stuff where you can buy old bunkers, old hangars, and things like that. So, I can't afford it. But I know I'll outlive them. I'm just saying. They'll end up killing one another living in that place. Britney Spears, Mariah Carey, and all of them, just like you can see the big cat fight. They all end up dead. I just had this feeling that when they do get there, the doors will shut and all the security will leave. They'll be like, "Look, bye, I'm going home," and they'll be left there by themselves in the Noah Ark of freaking, I don't know what kind of ark that. I don't know what kind of ark. That's an ark I don't want to be in. I would not want to be trapped in a room with any of those people for too long. I would lose it real fast. I'd probably I'd go freaking crazy on all of them, because they would drive me nuts. Oh my God, you know what I'm saying? Those kind of people, it would not last long. LOL. All right. Hey, I do that pretty good, right? All right. So, like in my doors, like modifications, look at your house, right? This is just something I do. I don't bring it to the show. I figured I'd talk about it today. Sometimes people ask these weird questions, and I just wanted to tell you kind of what I do around the house. Like my main entry door, right? Now, any doors that I have are modified, but my main entry door, the screws that I pulled out of it were that big, and that was where the receiving end, when it latches and goes into the hole, when you turn the knob, when that ping goes in there, the only screws really holding that metal plate to the door frame is this. So I've replaced that with this. All right, big difference, right? And it's a real simple, cheap fix for some security. Look, you're on a budget, you can't afford a lot, but that will give you a little bit extra strength. It's going to take a while to bust through one of these things. They're really hard to break. They're going to take some time to shear off like that, but this will be a good update. Another thing you could do, and I was looking at, and it would work, I've thought about doing it, these bad boys. All right. Now, all I would have to do at this point, I'd have to widen the hole out just a little bit more. I could even go as far as taking the trim. You basically pop the trim off, and then behind there, you run these through. You're going to have to use a ball peen hammer and dent a countersink for the head, okay? It's going to go in, and then on the other side, you take that frame plate off so it covers all that up when it goes in. Take that cover off, and then inside there, you've got that, you know how you got that artsy framework that goes around your door? That's the frame piece I'm talking about. All right, slide these bad boys in, put your nut behind it, and up against that wood that goes up in that frame. If you've got one of those kind of doors. See, I have a solid steel frame, and I want to increase it even more. I don't like the idea of just these, so I'm going to try to upgrade to these. But you put a nut on the other end of it and screw that sucker in, and you're done. But I'll have two of these versus two of these. But I've already got these. I'm just going to make another upgrade. That's just something I plan on doing. I might actually make a video for that. Alright, so there's that. Has some radical stuff, man. I mean, there's a lot of radical stuff that you can do. I use remote lighting. So basically there's a sensor, motion sensors. So basically if anything approaches the house, it lights up. I've got it on either end of the house. So I know if something's coming from a certain direction or whatever. I have the same system above the kids' windows. To each kid window I have the same system, and it'll let, there's also a shaker alarm. So what I did, you can buy this stuff at Lowe's, Home Depot, Ace, all this stuff, right? They sell all this stuff. But I have a shaker glass window alarm. So basically if anyone tries jiggling the window at all, the alarm goes off and it lets me know, and I'll pop up out of bed and 12 gauge slug, you know what I mean? But anyways, okay, nightmare. All right, so the shaker alarms go on the glass. Now you can put those things all around your house, anywhere you've got glass. So anytime someone like runs up and bam, tries to break your window out or tries to jimmy it, any sudden movement like that, and it's going to set it off. You can flip a switch from the inside and then you can raise your windows up. That's all you do, is just turn it off and turn it on. You can take broomstick handles and place them in sliding glass windows where the sliding glass goes to open. You just lay that down in the groove, the channel there, and the glass window won't open. That's another thing you could do for sliding glass. That also works with regular your standard windows to the house. You just take a piece of PVC pipe or a piece of broomstick handle, and you stick it up there in that channel, slide it up in there into the channel. You go to try and lift it up, it's not going to move, so they can't jimmy them up. That's another on the budget cheap thing you can do. There's so many of these ideas. I mean, I would just run around the house and be like, hey, check this out, check this out, check this out. Then my video would be like 6 hours long. It'd be ridiculous. All right, so motion sensors, even for the driveway. So basically, someone pulls in, I get a chime, and I know someone's here. That's another thing, and it also senses the side lights to come on and stuff like that. Something else that I have, and the reason why I went with so many motion sensors, that's a question, right? I had something intended for that. Now, I reload shotgun shell. What happens when you take, this is Bill and I, the science guy, is going to show up any minute. You take aluminum foil, you wrap it around the shotgun shell in a big wad, right? Make it thicker and thicker, all right? Just smash it, smash it, smash it. All right, then you screw it. So you got like, let's see right here, this light fixture here, right? Basically, you take the bulb out of it, okay? Now you want this to be a little bit wider so you can screw it in there. Now there's a prong way back in there. You're going to reach in there with a flathead screwdriver, turn the power off first. Reach in there with a flathead screwdriver and pull that prong up. Make sure that prong is going to touch the back head of that primer, okay? Alright, I showed you that. There we go. Bring it back over here. So the head is going to touch, that prong is going to touch the back side of that primer. Now what happens when somebody, this is doomsday. SHTF, this is just ideas for security, okay? Why have a light come on? Don't need everybody seeing you, right? So at that point, I won't need it for lights. I don't want people seeing me, all right? So when someone something walks past there, kaplow, all right? It might take a couple of seconds for it to go off because it's got to get really hot first. But once it gets hot enough, and if it doesn't short out, you got to remove the fuse. That's the other thing. But all of my fuses are still in there. It would be doomsday for me to pull something like that off. Just keep in mind, these deals do have fuses inside. Believe them or not, most people don't believe that stuff, right? You're lying. All right. Some do, some don't. Like in the switch, it'll short out. It might cause a short and cause it to pop that fuse. That's why you just got to run a straight. You can't have any fuses if you run something like that. But it's SHTF, so who cares, right? I don't think the government's not going to come and tell you how to wire up anything anymore, right? No one's going to come talk to you. Alright, there's that. That's home improvement, right? All kinds of stuff you can do around the house to try and fix things and make things better. But besides just making it better, like thick boards for your windows. Most people don't even think about getting them. I keep mine in the shed. But it's just a simple system so that you can put boards up just to keep someone from tossing stuff in. You don't want people tossing things in, right? But like I said, when it's SHTF, this house is going to look like a freaking war zone. It's going to look like somebody's already bombed and depleted it. It's going to be gone. Like spray paint everywhere, do not enter, blah, blah, blah kind of stuff. You know, some scary, scary figures. I might draw a T-Rex on the side of the house. But yeah, I'm going to be doing some crazy stuff around it. Now, I make stuff, alright? I make a lot of stuff, and I just wanted to share that with you real quick. So, Sippy Cup taught me how to sew, and with the whole sewing projects that I do, sometimes I modify my own gear. I go to several places and look for, like, well, for one, I found a couple of beam down lights from AutoZone. I'm not kidding. Don't make fun of me yet, alright? So a couple of, they're just lights for the inside of your, I guess for the inside of a car's dashboard and stuff, but I got these things and I soldered them up. And I wanted one of those beanies like I see people rocking around. It's got the lights in it, so I made my own. I can't afford that trash, so I went on a budget. I mean, yeah, I've got my 2 lights in there. I'm glad Sippy Cup taught me how to sew. I'll make some tactical stuff for you guys. Let me know below if you want me to teach you how to sew. I'll get on there and I'll show you how to spool the whole thing up and get it going. And everything do's and don'ts and all that stuff. I didn't know if it'd be a good topic for the show or not. I don't know if you guys care. But anyways, I got this. So my switch is kind of in the side and I got my battery over here. But You just turn it on just like that. And when I got this thing on, boom, everywhere I look, right? But yeah, you can hardly even tell that it's even on there. It's just got your couple little dots there. Just like that. Yeah, doomsday. Boom. See, I didn't want to spend a whole lot of money because I don't have that kind of money to be just throwing around. It was like 20 bucks for a beanie like that, and I've got a beanie. I need some lights for it. I spent like $2 on some lights. So there you go. You can get those at AutoZone, just saying. Anyways, moving on. I don't know how many ideas. This is supposed to be home improvement, but I know I'm just kind of babbling now. But this is just ideas. When I was talking about around the house ordeal, there's some projects for you to be thinking about. Take a look at your doors. The doors inside my house, this is another thing. The doors inside my house are solid wood. They're old. It's a house from the 40s, so all the wood in this house is like wood. And there's nothing cheap and ridiculous about it. It's solid. So someone trying to break into here is going to have a really hard time, and they're going to be complaining a lot and hurting themselves. But not like a new house. A newer house, you can find a way into that house any direction you want. But an older house, you're going to have a little bit more trouble. It's a little bit sturdier. But having solid wood doors is important. And then my front door is steel. I steel frame, steel everything in the front. The whole front end, like whole section's just, it's all steel. Anyway, you see this? Look, it's just a flashlight, right? But it takes, let's see, more ideas, man. I'm just trying to help. All right. See, now this is a C battery. Boom. C battery, right? This is a AAA, all right? Boom, all right? Now, I only have one of these left in the house. I was bored. I have this, and it needed batteries. I only have one of these. So I said, I'm done with you, C batteries. Get out of here. Let's go with something else. So what I did, I taped 4 of these guys together. It works. Look. Yep. Now watch this. I've got a washer. I needed something for the backside. Calm down, hippies. Alright. Boom. Just like that. A little bit of electrical tape. Boom. Drop it in there. Apply washer. The backside on. That's 8 AAA, so you know. Boom. Just like that. Now, MacGyver, right? He had some cool ideas. Man, there's a section. Alright, I think I liked it. I think it's in my liked folder. But anyways, there's a whole section of, there's a dude on YouTube that basically what he has done, every crazy pinch MacGyver got in, he put it in series of different types of situations, and it goes on and on and on and on. Like the part where he fixes the spark plug, right? He takes a spark plug for his boat. His boat didn't work because he didn't have a spark plug because the prong had broke off. And he went over and took the spark plug and set it in the vise and took a car battery, clamped the ground to the spark plug, and then took a nail and tied that into the positive, right? And took the nail and stuck it in the place where the arc actually has to bend over. So he welds it to it, snips it off, bends it back over, gives it the correct gap, shoves it in his freaking boat motor, and fires it up and takes off and escapes. It's perfect. Anyways, that's the kind of dude I'd hang out with. Totally. Alright. It's that time of the month again. No, it's not that time of the month again. You guys are weird. Alright. Food. Food. Alright, so every 2 weeks, right? We do this, but every month, you haven't caught on yet, every month, near the end of the very, very last couple of days of the month, I'll do a video. And that video harps on food, alright? This was $15, okay? I got beans, once again. Beans and bullets, right? Alright. Some ravioli. Look, it's not Chef Boyardee, but it'll be alright. I got some hominy this time. Usually I don't buy hominy, but this time I got hominy. I like hominy a lot. It's one of my... Sippy Cup won't eat it, but for me, I'll eat it, and I know the kids will eat it. Alright, so that's part of it. And then I got mixed veggies. I couldn't pick, so I couldn't make my mind up, so I got mixed veggies this time. A couple of things of peanut butter. We know it doesn't last long, but hey, it is what it is. These, I couldn't pass up. I've been buying a lot of these things. Every time I go now, I find this. They're like 99 cents, and it's a regular box of mac and cheese, right? Even comes with the creamy cheese, just like Velveeta, right? So these are 99 cents a piece. I buy up freaking every single time we go grocery shopping, like every 2 weeks. I see these things. I mean, $10, 10 boxes of this stuff, dude. Mac and cheese, I tell you, it's good. So the kids will eat it. I'll eat it. Sippy Cup will eat it. So there we go. Now, I do this, and I always change my decision on my veggies every time I do this, okay? And every time I buy something like this, I mix it up. I don't get the same thing every time I go, but I get a couple of cans. I try to get two, just I keep that going kind of in twos. Remember, 2 is 1, 1 is none. What was that guy saying, Doomsday Preppers? Anyway, so yeah, I got this, and then, so basically, I got my beans over here too. So basically, I take this and I put it in my storage. And I take my storage and I take the stuff that's coming due out and I rotate it out. I keep doing this every single time. So that way it's small portions. This is the amount that I'm going to put in. And about that much is about how much I'm going to take out. Now I do get extra. So basically I would take one of these out, one of these out, and then one of these, one of these, one of these. And this would still stay in there. And then 2 weeks from now, I'll put 2 in and take 1 full set out. That's how I do this. Just so you guys know. Look, it's the end of the month. I have to remind you. Because if I don't, nobody else is. And everybody's just going to tell you about, hey, this is a flashlight or this is a knife, right? So I got to make sure I remind you of this stuff, right? Because if you get too sidetracked and start looking for more stuff to buy, for one, your significant other's probably going to kill you. And then you're not going to have to worry about any of the food stuff, right? Speaking of which, significant other going to kill me. I ordered a knife, all right? So I ordered a new knife, and I'm gonna talk about it on the show. I ordered this. No one's giving it to me. But I have to replace the kukri, and I'm not getting a kukri. So thanks, Daniel. Great. Anyway, so I'm not getting a kukri this time. I probably will later, but this time I'm getting something a little bit different, and I'm going to do a special on it next week. I'm going to be outdoors, I hope, next week if we don't get snowed in, because they're talking about it. They've already started squirting the potato juice on the road, so I'm looking forward to more snow and rescuing my neighbor. He still hasn't bought snow chains. That dude is lost in the sauce. I told him it was going to get worse. He never listens. Anyway, that's his mindset. But he knows I'll probably come rescue him, so he's probably not worried about it. So anyway, bushcraft next week. I couldn't do it this week. I was too busy. I had to change a distributor out in the truck. Now that it's back to normal again, I can go back to regular activities. So I might be able to make a trip over here to the bush to play around. All right. I'm not sure if we'll go to the lake or if I'm going to be just kind of out and about in the woods over here. So there's that. Dehydrating, and I've got a canning video coming. I'm going to be doing jalapeno peppers, and I think you guys are going to like it, especially if you love barbecue sauce or barbecue. That's all I can do for a hint. I'm just helping you out. All right, that's all I got, man. All right, I'm gonna roll off into outer space. All right, you're watching SOS. I am Staff Sergeant Badass. Have a beautiful, fantastic day, and take it easy.